We have to pick at every position one great one. Bench is the greatest catcher that ever lived and ever will live.
He was just so smart. I mean, he could sit on the bench with me and he said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "No, I didn't see that." He could pick things out from a pitcher, I mean, just like that.
Milton, sit over here with Jonathan. Sit over here, Jonathan. He's smart.
Nobody reminds me of Johnny Bench. And I say it with all the credibility and honesty in the world that nobody had a transfer from the glove to the throwing position as quickly as Bench had. He sucked up balls in the dirt. He was a power hitter. He was a leader. He was the best. He was the best ever.
The story of baseball's greatest catcher began on December 7th, 1947, when Johnny Lee Bench was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The Bench family settled in tiny Binger, Oklahoma 5 years later, and it was there, under the tutelage of his father Ted, that Bench began his rise to baseball prominence. It was Ted who encouraged Johnny to be a catcher, seeing mastery of the position as his son's quickest path to the major leagues.
Throw the ball good, he can catch the ball. At 7 years old, it's hard to find a kid that can catch and throw a baseball, and that's where I started him out behind the plate.
Johnny's tremendous talent was apparent early on, and by the time he was a high school senior, he was seen by scouts as a legitimate major league prospect. And so it was that the 17-year-old valedictorian of Binger High School was selected by the Cincinnati Reds in the second round of the inaugural amateur draft in 1965. Johnny Bench's journey to baseball immortality was officially underway. Bench rose rapidly through the Reds' minor league ranks, and in 1967, his powerful bat and impeccable defense earned him Sporting News Minor League Player of the Year honors, and more importantly, a late-season call-up to Cincinnati in August. The next year, in his first full major league season, Bench caught a rookie record 154 games and led all National League catchers in putouts and assists, and only 2 other catchers gunned down more runners trying to steal bases. He was productive at the plate as well, batting .275 with 15 home runs and 82 RBI. Bench's breakout season earned him the first of his 14 All-Star selections and the first of his 10 Gold Gloves. He became the first rookie to receive baseball's highest defensive honor and was also the first catcher to be named Rookie of the Year. A star was born in 1968 that would soon shine on baseball's grandest stage as a key part of one of baseball's finest teams. When Johnny Bench arrived in Cincinnati, he joined Pete Rose, Tony Perez, Lee May, and Tommy Helms to form a core of top young talent that was primed for a run at the pennant. By 1970, this group had been christened the Big Red Machine, and with new manager Sparky Anderson at the helm, the Machine christened its new home Riverfront Stadium with its first division title. For Johnny Bench, 1970 proved to be the finest all-around season of his career and one of the best ever produced by a major league catcher. He set career highs in home runs with a league best 45 and RBI with a league high 148, and once again was the league's finest defensive catcher. At age 22, he was the youngest player ever selected as his league's most valuable player. The Reds topped the National League with 102 victories and swept the Pirates in the league championship series before falling to the Brooks Robinson-led Orioles in 5 games in the World Series. After a disappointing 1971 season, the club was revamped in 1972 with the addition of second baseman Joe Morgan, pitcher Jack Billingham, and outfielder Cesar Geronimo. The club's new look brought with it another division title and a second Most Valuable Player award for Johnny Bench, who hit 40 home runs and drove in over 100 for the second time in his young career. The Reds were again pitted against the Pirates in the National League Championship Series, but this time the team split the first 4 games of the best-of-5 series.
It came to the 9th inning, and we were down by a run, and I'm on the on-deck circle leading off the inning against Dave Justy, one of the great right-handed relievers in history, basically. And people were hollering in the stands, "Johnny, Johnny," and somebody said, "It's your mother." And I turned around and I looked at her and she said, "Hit me a home run." And I sort of glowed. I thought, "Mom, I wish it were that easy, and I wish it weren't Dave Justy." But the change hit in the air to deep right is called by Al Michaels. We'll live on.
1-2. The wind. And the pitch to Bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. That goes Clemente. It's a fence. She's done.
Bench's game-tying home runs sparked an improbable rally that secured the Reds' second pennant in 3 years.
The Reds win the pennant. Bob Moose throws a wild pitch, and the Reds have won the National League pennant.
But World Series disappointment once again befell the club as it lost to the A's in a tightly contested 7 games. It would be 3 more seasons before the Big Red Machine would reach baseball's pinnacle and claim its place among the greatest teams ever assembled. The 1975 Reds won 108 games and defeated the Red Sox in one of the greatest World Series ever played. In 1976, Johnny Bench struggled through much of the regular season, but shined in the Reds' sweep of the Yankees in the World Series, batting .533 with 2 home runs in the series' decisive 4th game to claim series MVP honors. Johnny Bench and the Reds were on top of the baseball world. The Big Red Machine was unquestionably baseball's best team, and Johnny Bench was undoubtedly baseball's greatest catcher. The 1976 World Championship proved to be the high point of the Big Red Machine era and the peak of Johnny Bench's career. Over the next several seasons, the Big Red Machine was disassembled piece by piece. As the team changed, one constant remained: Johnny Bench behind the plate for 100 or more of the Reds' games. Bench caught 100 or more games each season from 1968 through 1980. A 13-season run that tied Yankee great Bill Dickey for the Major League record. As the decade came to a close, the physical toll of so many games played at baseball's most demanding position was evident, and Bench began to more frequently appear at other positions on the field to keep his still potent bat in the lineup. Bench was starting at his familiar position on July 15, 1980, when he belted a 2-run home run off the Expos' David Palmer in the bottom of the 5th inning of the Reds' 11-7 win at Riverfront Stadium. The home run was Bench's 314th as a catcher, breaking the career mark set by Yogi Berra. The homer etched Bench's name on another line of the baseball record book. When Johnny Bench announced in June of 1983 that he would retire at the end of the season, it set off a wave of tributes throughout the game as Bench was lauded and showered with gifts at ballparks throughout the National League. But it was the nearly hour-long pregame ceremony held at Riverfront Stadium on September 17th's Johnny Bench night that touched him the most.
I thank you so much. My family thanks you. I appreciate you. And I'm going to try like hell to play good for you tonight. Thank you.
Always one to rise to the occasion, Bench donned his catcher's gear one last time, and in the bottom of the 3rd inning, provided Reds fans with yet another unforgettable moment.
On the left field, get out of here, baseball! He scored! Oh my God, can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. Amazing! Absolutely amazing. He makes the tour, and I'll tell you what, you can't write anything like that.
During his 17-year Major League career, Johnny Bench established a new standard of excellence at the catching position, against which all catchers who followed him are judged. Over the course of his remarkable career, he reached virtually every goal he established for himself and his club, and amazed and delighted baseball fans the world over with his remarkable skills, none more so than fans in Cincinnati, who will always consider him one of their own. For it was in the proudly worn uniform of the Cincinnati Reds that Johnny Lee Bench, the kid from Binger, Oklahoma, achieved his most ambitious goal. It was as a Red that Johnny Bench became baseball's greatest catcher.
You might think of All-Star games and World Series, but certainly you wouldn't think of the Hall of Fame, because that is a place for the fantasies. That is the place for the Cy Youngs and the Babe Ruths and the Lou Gehrig's, for the greatest players who ever played this game. And now to be a part of them and share with them this plaque to hang on the wall and to be a part of the greatest thing that's ever happened in my lifetime and in a lot of people's lifetime, to be a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. To quote one person who probably made catching more important outside of Roy Campanella, a guy by the name of Yogi Berra said, "It's not over till it's over." Yogi, it's over. We have made it, and thank you very much.
Well, there was only one stop from Binger to Cooperstown. An Oklahoma kid came our way. The Cincinnati Reds, big number 5, making Hall of Fame plays every day. Well, there was only one stop from Binger to Cooperstown. He played for the Reds most every day. In the time of $1 million deals, agents making owners squeal, he stayed with Cincinnati all the way.